Hey guys, Miss Coffin back with some tips on the grade 8 writing SOL that's coming up, some test taking tips for you. Okay, when you are looking at your writing SOL, which looks like this, it is really easy to forget that you are being tested on writing because there's so much reading involved. All right, I'm going to get rid of myself here. Okay, this is a writing test, and it's really, really important to remember that. Let me show you why. Okay, here's an example. There's a big giant passage over here, and then there's a lot of reading over here. But this question is testing you on your knowledge of conjunctions, because, and, until, but, and also how to combine sentences. Two things that we've been talking about in language arts this year under the topic of writing. Okay, so this is a writing skill question. If you need help, by the way, with your conjunctions, go to No Write Ink and search the word conjunctions. You'll find coordinating and subordinating practice. All right, let's look at another example. Here's another example. There's a lot of words here to read, but it's testing your ability to write using commas when you put dates in sentences. It's a writing skill. Again, No Write Ink provides lots of help with commas, and there's a specific practice on using commas with dates. If you weren't able to figure out the answer was that, you should check it out. This is a great example. This particular question came from a big, giant, long passage, which I typically don't read when I'm taking a writing test. What I do is I read the first 3 sentences to understand what the passage is about. Then I go to the question and find out where I should focus my attention. So this one directs me to sentence 23, and I go right there, and I immediately notice quotation marks. Well, I've been learning in grade 8 this year that I need to know how to punctuate dialogue. So I'm pretty sure that this is going to test that skill. And in fact, it is. I see here that there is a period inside the quotation mark. That can't be because the sentence isn't finished yet. My only choices are a comma, if Zach is saying something, an exclamation if he's screaming it, or a question mark if he's asking it. It's one of these two, and then I also know that the punctuation has to be tucked inside the quotation mark. So this is a writing skill question. Can I punctuate dialogue? Even though I had to go back to this big reading passage. Okay. Again, there's help on No Write Ink for dialogue. Check it out if you're struggling. May decides to add this sentence to her rough draft. Again, we're presented with a big rough draft that she wrote. I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time reading the whole thing. I'll just glance at it, get an idea, and go directly to the sentences I need to focus on. But this is a revising an essay writing skill. That's what they're asking. It would be appropriate for Abigail to cover these topics. Abigail, in this example, is writing a persuasive letter to ask other students to volunteer for the book drive. So what details should she add, and how should she organize them? It's a writing skill question. Casey decides to use the hospital as a setting for her story. Which of the following would be most helpful for her to use in describing the setting? Well, we've been talking about writing all year, and you guys know that strong descriptive word choice that helps a reader imagine, relate, or respond to ideas is the right way to start. And so describing that visit to the hospital would be an excellent choice. So I really want you to keep in mind that this is a writing test, and realize you are not being tested on everything that there is to know about writing. You are being tested on what you learned this year in class. So really think about the things that we've talked about. Punctuating dialogue, sentences, word choice, different grammar skills, and organizing ideas. Even if you were half asleep in class this year, you probably heard these words and know a little bit about it, and can read a test question and figure out what it might be asking you. We hope you guys do well. See you next week.